Hey, Brian here, and thank you so much for tuning in to the third episode, Networking. I'm really excited about this video because I think networking is one of the most important things when it comes to recruiting, when it comes to not only getting a job, but also for succeeding in it and, thereafter. But before we jump into recruiting, I like to share some links that I think would really help you with your recruiting journey. Starting with my Substack, and mine is called Blogging by Brian. So you can see here when you type in bryan.yuan.wang, you can access my Substack, and I'll be publishing new articles weekly every Friday. So I'll be posting content on everything from recruiting to commentary on political, social, and economic events. But as part of my first series in my Substack, it's very similar to my YouTube channel, where I cover my version of the 2020-2021 recruiting guide, starting with a guide to authentic networking. So you may have noticed that this is actually the theme of today's video, which I'll be breaking into two parts, part 1 and part 2, released today on Monday, as well as this Friday. Now, if you want to get a head start, you could of course check out this article I have on my Substack in my newsletter, and if you subscribe using your email, you'll always get updates whenever I make new content. So, on that note, let's jump straight into it. Today's video is part 1 of a part 2 series. And in part 1, we're going to go over, what is networking and why network from both, our side of the story as well as their side of the story, so the people we're networking with, as well as who we should contact and where should we contact them. And then in the next part, we'll go over into the more, substantive and heavy areas, like the kinds of questions we should ask and how should we ask them. And this area is going to be more content heavy. I'm going to save that for the second part, so stay tuned for that this Friday when I post that video. But to begin, what is networking? Networking is the single most important tool in your disposal to landing a job or an internship, and getting promoted, nailing a business deal, and all around leading lasting change. A lot of people think networking is important for getting the job, and that's very true. But it's just as important, if not even more important, for actually succeeding on the job. So don't treat networking like a one-off opportunity. Really, networking is both short-term and it's long-term. And if you're good at it, you'll definitely focus more on the long-term aspect than the short-term. But more on that as you watch today's video. Networking is commonly defined as an activity that involves two parties, often aligned in a common profession or special interest. And these two parties exchange information and ideas. Ugh, how boring. And honestly, at face value, when you define it like this, it is really boring. And it feels really snaky, fake, and disingenuous. Is networking really just about meeting another person to get something out of him or her? Something tangible, something material, something that will help you professionally and personally, something that will help you get the job or the internship, and then you'll never see that person ever again? Honestly, if you treat networking as an exercise to get a job or an internship, an ends to a mean, if you will. If you treat networking like it's a destination and not a journey, and as cliche as that term is, it really applies here because I think networking is way more than just asking for favors. I think networking is way more than just a snaky exchange where you're using another person to get a job or an internship or something tangible and material out of it. Networking is so much more than that. And hopefully this video will dispel some of those concerns and will dispel some of these connotations that networking is slimy and fake and disingenuous, because in the wrong hands, it absolutely is. But with these best practices and with these videos principles in mind, hopefully you see networking not as a way to get a job or an internship. Yes, those are important, but more importantly, networking is a way to make friendships and mentorships in the unlikeliest of places. You see, everybody networks. You networked when you made your first friend on the playground. You networked when you talked to that random person in your class and you formed a homework party and you became best friends. You networked with people who were once complete strangers but now are friends for life. You network with friends, you network with family, and whenever you talk to someone new, that's networking. Because I don't think networking is about finding a job or an internship. Networking is about building relationships, and it's about building friendships. And if you put your best foot forward by being genuine and authentic, and you actively listen and you care about the other person, then I don't see networking, honestly, as even a professional endeavor. I think it's something that's highly personal, something that can be very intimate. Naturally, this isn't to say that once you watch this video, every single networking encounter you have, every single coffee chat you have is going to end in rainbows and sunshine. Obviously, that may or may not be the case, given individual temperaments and personalities and situations and environments. But, as the old adage goes, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. So you may be wondering, why even bother shooting your shot in the first place? Well, for starters, you kinda have to. Picture this, you're applying to a job at Google. So are 3 million other candidates. And of those 3 million, only 7,000 will actually get jobs at Google. So you essentially have a 1 out of 428 odds of getting into Google. And I picked on Google because Google is such a popular company and everybody knows it. But, honestly, these odds are quite similar if you apply to banking, to consulting, to accounting, to engineering and product management. Even if you apply to a startup, the odds will be stacked against you because chances are they'll only take 2 applicants and 200 will be applying. Basically, you're looking at like 1 to 5% odds. Getting a job or an internship can be harder than getting into college.
Bruh.
Terrifying, I know. But there is a silver lining. There are strategies you can employ to improve your chances of getting in, and networking is the most important one. For instance, picture again the example of you applying to Google. But now picture that you had a coffee chat and you set up time to talk with someone who's working at Google. You talk with 30 minutes and the conversation hits off really, really well. Your new-founded mentor and friend in Google really likes you, and they see you as an amazing fit, both professionally and culturally at the firm and with the team they're working on. So they refer you. They basically tell the recruiter and the recruiting team that you're applying, here's your name and credentials and your resume, and that they personally think you're a great fit for the firm, for the team, and for the overall corporate culture. They're basically giving you their stamp of approval. And this is so important because, 1, it qualifies you. It qualifies you professionally, technically, and culturally. And 2, because they've done that, your resume and cover letter and application profile will go to the top of the stack. What does this mean? Well, whereas before you submitted your resume alongside the other 2,999,000 resumes and cover letters, and chances are when you did that, the AI they use to screen all those resumes looks at yours and tosses yours into the virtual trash bin. Now, by having this referral, by having the stamp of approval, your application profile gets fast-tracked to the top of the line, where it's not an AI or a robot looking at your resume, it's actually now a human recruiter. Better yet, because of this coffee chat, this person, this newfound friend and mentor, will be able to give you tips and tricks to make your resume stand out. They'll tell you what to do to succeed, and this will help your resume stand out even more when an actual human looks at it. Of course, networking is so much more important, than just for its utility in getting an internship or a job. It does so much more than that. You can get personalized insider advice on entering an industry. You can learn whether or not this job is something you even like or dislike. And coffee chats can help you figure out, what you love and what you hate. The worst thing is to get stuck in a job or an internship that's a dead end, that is something you hate. And coffee chats are a great, sneak peek into finding out what you love and what you don't. And so I think at the end of the day, networking is really important for not just getting the job, but really for succeeding in it. And networking is important not only to develop your best professional self, but in my honest opinion, your best interpersonal self as well. It teaches you to, be more empathetic and to listen to other stories. It teaches you and inspires you to become a better friend and a listener, an advocate, and it helps you also find those same friends and those very same advocates and mentors yourself. So there's so many great reasons why, we should network, but you may be thinking, I'm just a kid and I'm just a student. Why should they be networking with me and what can I possibly offer them in return? I agree that this is quite daunting and I personally struggled with this myself. But honestly, there is a silver lining to everything, and here's a silver lining to this kind of question. There are so many reasons why, they should be networking with you because you have value and you have worth. And we're going to be getting into that right now. First and foremost, they earn money. Flat out, a lot of firms like Google and Accenture, big firms, but even startups offer cash bonuses for successfully made referrals. So in the proverbial Google example, If you actually got the internship or the job after the referral was made, you just earned your referrer and your coffee chatter $2,000 and a cash bonus that's deposited directly into their bank account. Wow. In the Bay Area, $2,000 is like, 1 month's rent for a 1-bedroom apartment. We love price gouging, but in all seriousness, money is money, and you're really doing your network and your coffee chatter a huge favor. But of course, bordering away from the financial, there are many altruistic reasons people want to help. At the end of the day, we got here because of other support and others' help. I personally stand on the shoulders of giants, and in any way I can, I want to pay it forward to the next generation of students, but also activists, change makers, and leaders. I want to pay it forward, and so do so many other alumni and other working professionals working in those jobs you're really interested in, those jobs you want to work in and want to learn more about. Also, it feels amazing to be a mentor. Now, I speak from experience, but one day you're going to be a mentor yourself. And when the day comes, you're going to see how awesome it is to feel loved, admired, and respected. And you're going to see how amazing it is to help other students grow and succeed on their own terms. So we went into the what and the why. Now it's time to go into the who. Who should you contact for the best results? For starters, let's begin with your first degree connections. Your first degree connections are the people you already know very well. So friends and family, as well as colleagues you directly worked with or under. First degree connections are great for a number of reasons. First, you could practice coffee chatting in a low stress, low stakes environment. But two, you could have them introduce you to their colleagues that you may be interested in speaking with. And this leads us to the second step, the second degree connections. These are people, in industries and roles you're interested in learning more about, but, you don't directly know them. You do, however, have a friend or a colleague that does know them. And by coffee chatting these individuals, you could get a referral or an introduction to meet these second degree connections. And of course, when you share something or someone like a friend in common, it's much easier to get the ball rolling on a natural, organic conversation. It's much easier to be liked when you have something or someone in common, and as a result, it's just a more natural stepping stone into your journey for learning how to network successfully. But third and finally, you could chat and network in coffee chat with third degree connections. So these are people with whom you share no connections, friends, or colleagues in common. So it's kind of the ultimate test in networking. That being said, there are some best practices to keep in mind when networking with these individuals. If you don't have someone in common, find something that you do. This could be a school or university that you both attend, so a current student or an alumni, or it could be a job or an internship or an industry you've worked in and you want to learn more about. Next and finally, where should you contact these individuals? For starters, I'd begin with LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a great social platform for networking because A, if you have a profile built out, it's great because when you introduce yourself, they can already tell, what you're looking for and what you're into. But also B, the LinkedIn search function is actually quite robust. You could use linkedin.com/alumni to immediately search for alumni and your school. You could also use the filter function to filter by school and by company, as well as industry and job function and geographic area. Besides LinkedIn, universities often have alumni association databases. Some schools also have LinkedIn alumni groups that you could join as a student. And the perks of joining these groups is that you can meet with alumni who conscientiously made the choice to join these groups voluntarily. So chances are they really want to connect and get to know other alumni as well as current students like yourself. You could also join student clubs and organizations. This is a great way to connect with current students as well as past students and alumni who were once part of these organizations. Because you have a common interest and you share something in common, it's much easier, like I said, to get the ball rolling on a great conversation. You could also attend hackathons and industry conferences, and this is yet another great way to connect with people your age, as well as younger than you and older than you. A lot of judges are industry thought leaders as well as executives. So if you kind of want to up your game and chat with, more daunting and more intimidating contacts like these executives, like these thought leaders, honestly, go for it. And of course, that leads us into part 2 of this video, which is how should we prepare? What kind of research should we be doing before the coffee chat? What kinds of questions should we ask to really optimize our time with them and impress them and get the knowledge we need to really understand the role and to build the relationship? This and so much more will be covered in part 2 of my recruiting video. So stay tuned for that as well. And of course, if you want to get a head start, You could definitely check out my slides, which I'll link in the description below, and my Substack newsletter, which goes into part 1 and 2 of my networking guide. As always, thank you so much for tuning in to my channel and for watching these videos and for supporting me. It really means the world to me. And as long as I make content that helps you live your best professional, academic, and interpersonal lives, there's nothing more that I could possibly want. I really don't care about how many subscribers I have, how many people I reach, how many views I get, because at the end of the day, I want to reach out to real people and help real people achieve real success. So if I'm not hitting anything you want to learn more about, please let me know in the comment section below and DM me. And of course, join my Zoom office hours every Tuesday, 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So with that said, thank you so much again. I hope you stay healthy and happy in these COVIDious times, and I wish you the best of luck in all your endeavors. Bye.